So what's the Get Down?
Hip hop culture lifestyle show. Can I get some production credits?
Production credits. Of course, everybody know me for the notorious big Suicidal Thoughts, but they don't know that Come On, Motherfuckers was done before Suicidal Thoughts, and they just shelved that record. And then when he passed away, they brought it back out, but they let Clark remix it. And so that's not my production on that, but you can look up my original production on YouTube or something. And of course, Dr. Dre, The Message, and Capone and Noriega, Channel 10, and then the reunion album, Don't Know Nobody. And some people don't know I'm the voice behind Fat Boy Slim. Check it out now. Funk Soul Brother right about now. Yeah, I know it's coming to you now. You're like, oh shit, that's him? Yeah, so I've dibbled and dabbled in a lot of different things during the course of my career.
What is it the thing that, does DJing come before production, or is it production and then DJing?
For me, DJing came before production. A lot of people think I just started DJing. It's just like, he just started. No, I've been DJing since the 80s. DJing plays a part in production because you, as a DJ, you cut and you chop and you juggle beats, and all that plays a part in production. So when you hearing certain elements in a record, if you would juggle it as a DJ, why can't you piece it together as a producer? So DJing and production definitely plays hand in hand. When I buy records, when I listen to records, I'm listening for so many different things. I'm not listening to something for just one thing. Sometimes I'm inspired. I can be inspired by the feel. I can be inspired by the instruments being played. Of course, if it's a dope groove, or it's deeper than that. I could hear a simple kick, snare, rim that I've never heard before, and take that little kick, snare, and rim and program that in the beat where, I've learned from a lot of people, like the Premiers, the Pete Rocks, the Large Professors, my brother Show. I've come from that camp. So I remember Large, he would play records. No, he would play the drum machine and hit pads. Go, yo, you know what snare that is? I couldn't figure it out then. But as you become a collector of music and you going and you buying records, then it starts to make sense.
I can figure it.
Now if he tells me, if you hit a snare now, first of all, certain records, I can hear the record and break that shit all the way down to the hi-hats, without you telling me what it is.
Right.
Once you love music, you gotta live music. It's not, some people do it as a hobby, some people, to me, I live it. I live it. Every day, music plays a part in my life. Not just listening to it.
Right.
Like, okay, yeah, I'm in Apple Music. No.
Yeah.
It plays a part because, I love listening. I'm still a student. When you're a student, you hear certain things different.
Right.
With music, I see colors when I hear music. Certain music hits the soul, in a certain way. I'm deep into music like that. If I can't feel it, then it doesn't mean nothing. You got to be able to feel music, not because it got a bounce and this percussion is being, or how they do it with the hi-hats and stuff now.
Yeah.
You got to feel it in a way where you know, in our era, it's like you could have been listening to 107.5 or 98.7 Kiss, and they playing something. You go, yo, what the fuck is that?
Word.
You immediately run into the store and you trying to hum the shit. You making a fool out yourself until you go, yeah, I know what that is, and he gives you the record, and that's the feel of being a music lover.
Nah, I can dig it. I can dig
You know, you don't just love it when they play it so much down your throat, but it's them deep cuts. It's cuts that mean things.
So for you, where did DJing come in? All right, we know about Lord Finesse, you know, the MC. Where do we know? Where does the DJing come in?
Well, I wanted to be a DJ before I wanted to be a rapper. People don't understand that part. What? Yeah, I never wanted to be a rapper. Just my motherfucker. I was about to curse this shit.
You can cuss.
Nah, I ain't mean to curse. It's just my grandmother.
Oh yeah. Don't get in trouble. Yeah.
You know, my grandmother couldn't afford to get me turntables, so I had another gift, and gift of snapping that converted into rap. You know, people don't know. And then the projects, yeah, people played the dozens. We snapped on the mother snaps, the yo, you sold this and you sold that, and now you take that and you put that into rap. You know, and that's where it became fun for me, because now I'm thinking of some wild stuff and I'm putting it in rhymes. You know, in a way you could picture it. You know, when I said Lord Finesse in effect to get loose now, my pockets stay fat like a goose down. And at that time, goose downs was the shit. You know how puffy a goose down is. So, and you think about getting paid and your pockets being fat. So you think of a goose down and your pockets being fat. Things like that is the thing about rapping, was being able to come with punchlines that you couldn't predict was going to hit you before they hit you. Like, my whole thing is being elusive.
Dig that.
You know, being able to surprise somebody, catch you off guard. Whether it's rapping, whether it's DJing, whether it's producing. I don't want something you could predict. If you could predict it, then that ain't fun. That don't make you special. If I could tell you what you're gonna say before you finish your rhyme,
Word.
that's corny. DJing, if you in a party and they know what you're gonna do every party, that's not fun. Oh, he's about to do this and he's about to do that. Or if you're a DJ and you gotta listen to other people's playlists to come up with what you gonna play. I think the thing about DJing is trusting your love of music, your studying of music, knowing that this feels good to me, I'm gonna try this out in this set, and making it work in a way where now people really respect you for your ear and you introducing them to new music.
Word.
Versus somebody saying, oh, this is the hot record, I'm gonna play this. DJs in my era broke records, you know, whether it was Red Alert, Marley Marl, they broke records. They found records and said, this feels good, I think you might like this, and they broke records. Now, you know, it's like, what's the newest thing? And if this person is playing, then you playing it because this person is playing it, or that person is playing it. And my thing with that is, if you don't have a vision or some type of creative bone in your body, you will always be number two. There is no number one for you, because your thought process is always based off of who's doing what. And if it's based off of who's doing what, then that's not an original thought that's coming from you. It's basically copying what's out there. And you only as good as what's out there. Nobody don't trust you to bring nothing new. And that's what it be. Like, when you're a student, you have different formulas.
Right.
Meaning, you know what it is. If you come from the struggle, if in order to appreciate success, you really got to understand the struggle.
Right.
If you don't understand the struggle, you'll never understand success. You won't appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, so when you don't come from that struggle and you was just given things, if those things are taken away from you, you don't know how to get them again because they was given to you. When you from the struggle, you know you had to make things work.
Real spit.
You had to think it out.
Real spit.
So if you ever hit a bad skid or a pothole, you could recover that. You've been there before.
Dig that.
So that's one way to look at it. And what I was saying, you have to be a creative. You have to think outside the box. You know, whether you're an artist or DJ, definitely a producer. I ask producers all the time, if I had to come to you to get what you could give me that I can't get nowhere else, what would it be? If you can't give me something original from you, how long can you last? You know? So when you come with formulas and you learn different things throughout music, those formulas help you get ahead, you know?
Word.
Being from the world of the struggle is different. You know, you were forced to use your mind. What makes a lot of producers great? Like, let me say, Large Professor or Pete Rock or Premier or Q-Tip or I'm missing some people. No disrespect, my whole crew, Diamond Show. You know, what makes you dope as a producer is being able to be different. But like I said, we're from that world of limitation.
Indeed.
So the world of limitation, you think of it when you have a drum machine that only have 8 to 10 seconds, and then you had to implement another machine like a 950 that had a little bit more sampling time, but the quality was in stereo, and neither machine. You know, so the 12 was the 8-bit grit, and you only had 10 seconds. So we sampling, some people sped the record up real fast and then slowed it down and then added drums around that. But like I said, that comes from the world of limitation, knowing that I can't get 10 seconds. I can't, if I sample this and this is 6 seconds, then I only got 4 seconds left. But if I speed it up on 78 or some shit and then slow it down, yeah, you get that distorted sound, but it got the whole loop now.
Right.
And then you put the you know, put the drums around that. So when you think of the world of limitation, MPC 60, 62, 1200, ASR, and you got this limitation, but look at all the incredible music that was done during the world of limitation.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to bring up.
Right? So it's the equivalent to a math test. In our era, we took a test. If it was a math test, they gave you the test, piece of paper, and a pencil.
Indeed.
You had to do your work on the
You
scrap piece of paper.
You had to show your work. Yeah, you had to show your work.
You had like same thing with a drum machine, limitation. You got to show your work. Got the scrap piece of paper. You showing your answers how you did it.
Right.
It's the same thing with a drum machine. You got limitations. Now show your work. You know, so now you take this test, you showed your work, and a lot of people did well. Some people got 100s, some people got 90s, some people got 80s. Now, you bring it up to this level, this area, where technology is damn near limitless.
That's facts.
Limitless. There's so much stuff you can do. It makes the average person lazy. You not from the world of imitation, so you don't know what it is to use different techniques and formulas because you don't have to. This drum machine does everything.
Word.
So when you look at that point, let's go back to the math test. Now you got cats taking tests with calculators and failing. How you take a test with a calculator and fail?
Gotta show your work.
We didn't, and it's just an analogy of the creativeness of the golden era, because people wonder why it's so golden. It's just because of the stuff that was being created with the limitation of the technology is what makes the golden era so golden. People automatically take it as a thing of disrespect. Oh, they saying this. No, we ain't saying nothing. That era was special because people did amazing things with less.
So how do you feel from that standpoint if they're like, oh, he just saying that because he old and this is his neck?
That's a throw off. That sounds like a answer for losers. You know, because when I think about it, I don't call myself old school. Old school mean you out of touch. You don't know what's going on. I'm more of a mature person because I'm gonna embrace my age. I know at my age I should be doing more. I should be doing way more than worrying about certain things. You've grown now, you know? Never had fucking Al Green worried about New Edition. When did that shit ever happen?
Real spit though.
So when you embrace who you are and you embrace what you've done, it's about moving forward. Not about thinking about, remember the time, remember when. You sound like them remember when people. You sound like the best days in your life done passed, and you have to really keep bringing up the past to feel relevant.
Right.
No, best days of your life should be ahead of you. You know, when I look at music, I don't think I've done my best work yet. I never feel like this is as good as it could get. And I challenge myself. You know, I did the Motown State of Mind because I want to go into that realm. I don't want cats to pigeonhole me like he could just do one thing. No, stop
I
doing
dig that, but people have, so the fact that people have the reverence for you that they do because that's what they dig about you. You know, like you're one of the few people, producers that produce for Biggie and for Dre. You know what I mean? Like a lot of cats can't say that. I'm not, you know, there's other stuff, you know, as well, but like how do you really deal with the situation as how it is now? Because I know how you feel about music. So with the sound of music and people being able to just go to the computer and just, you know, go ahead and make a 5-minute beat.
I'm not mad if that's what you want to do. I just, drawing a picture in 5 minutes, how much detailing can you put in that? Draw a picture in 5 minutes. What's that shit gonna really look like?
I can dig it.
You know, I feel the same way about music. If I did a beat in 5 minutes, that's called a skeleton to me. It's not called the beat. It's a skeleton. It's a frame. It's an idea. You know, when it comes to music, I say it all the time. I'm like a motherfucking tailor. You know, yeah, I done made some beats before. So I got some suits hanging in the closet. You might dig one of those.
Right.
But if you let me get a minute, I got this fabric for you. And I can create you something that's not hanging in the closet, something that's fresh. So when you step up on the scene, the suit is brand new, it's spanking. Yo, you don't have to worry about nobody wearing your suit. He made this. I seen him do this from the fabric.
Right. I can dig it.
You know, so music to me, it's a part of my life. Like really, when I think of music, and I I'm around a lot of extraordinary people. I've learned a lot from a lot. I'm always a student. And what I had to learn, and one of the most valuable lessons to me with the music is you can't lose sight, and you can't lose sight of your passion from something that took you from nothing and put you in position. Like, and I say that it's deep, because you'll start off in a shack, you'll start off with nothing, and music will literally help you get to where you at in life. And then you start looking around at the industry and start looking at so many things, and then you start comparing, and maybe I should do this and maybe I should do that. And you know, I'm not saying right now, I learned comparison is a thief of joy.
Indeed.
Because once you start comparing, now you on a hamster wheel now. And then things, you start losing focus of what puts you in position, which is music. And once you lose focus of that, you got some people where the industry did them in such a way, or handled them in such a way, they say, I'm not doing music no more.
Right.
How can you ever take out your anger on what got you out of the struggle? How can you blame the music? The music got you out the struggle. You shouldn't quit the music. Quit focusing on bullshit. That's what you should do.
Dig that.
Music don't have shit to do with it. You know, and I think, you know, sometimes you get caught up in the industry. It happens to all of us. But you shouldn't lose the love for what got you out what got you out your struggle. It's just the stupidest thing.
So since the kids, I don't even want to say it like that, because it's not just youngins that do it. Since what we call the frequency music. So since everybody's doing that to get the bag, what's your view on that? Is that right? Is that wrong? Or?
Well, that goes to the individual. That's how they treating what they want. You know, they feel like they want it quick. They want the bag. I got to do this to get the bag. You know, I don't look at music like that. You know, if you consistently great at what you do, the bag will come. I'm not doing something specifically for the bag. I'm doing something that's going to create a legacy that's going to speak for me long after I'm gone.
Dig that.
So that's how I look at music. I don't ever want to come into music like I'm just doing it for the bag or doing it for a specific thing. No, I'm doing it to be great, to look at as having a body of incredible great work.
Right.
You know, like I said, I don't knock if that's what you want to go for the bag. But I think sometimes people think you can skip over the culture. And you can skip over it, but those who skip over the culture aren't MCs, those are rappers.
Dig that.
It's a whole different thing. It's a culture and it's the business.
Right.
It's not an easy formula leveling off the two. Some people just say, fuck the culture, I want the bag. And you get the bag. And then somewhere along the line, you understand that you're not going to be remembered for being great.
Dig that.
And then it becomes something else.
Yeah.
Then you knocking people like Tupac and Biggie. Oh, they wasn't that great, or they wasn't that. Come on. They got a body of prolific work. You choose to chase the bag. Don't do shit for shock value. Nobody's going to remember you. But leave with the bag. Maybe invest in a building or something. They'll remember you for building the building.
Just don't fumble it.
But it ain't going to be for music.
No, dig that.
You know, I don't knock artists. Artists is an artist. That's the key of being an artist, is being able to project who you are. but everybody can't have the same story.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't. It can't happen. Everybody got to have something different about them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got some people that's in it for the bags.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think people don't do music for themselves, man. I mean, I look at some of these new rappers.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like they rhyming for dudes. They ain't even doing music for the world no more. I'm rhyming to show these dudes. You know, yeah, I don't knock them, but when I perform, I want some females in the crowd. I don't want a bunch of dudes in the crowd, you know? It's just me.
Nah, it ain't going down like that.
Nah.
Let me ask you this. What inspires you though? Like, let me, because I need people to understand this part. And I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions, you know, about people you've worked with. You've worked with Dre, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You've worked with Puff, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so going from you've worked with Big, so what inspires you? Because that's a wish list for cats. Matter of fact, you know Pac too. So
yeah,
you see what I'm saying? So
I think what it is just at the time it was the love of the music.
Mm-hmm.
It was loving what I was doing that created those scenarios for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was knowing that, you know, when I started doing beats, my brother Jess West came to the crib and he heard it like 2 weeks in. It's like, yo, this shit is hot. You know Puff. Puff is down the block in the office because I lived on 58th.
Mm-hmm.
So boom, he was like, yo, you need to play some of this stuff for Puff. So I went and played some stuff for Puff, and one of the joints, you know, he put me on to was the Party and Bullshit remix. You know, that was my first introduction to Big.
Mm-hmm.
And it was another joint that I did do with Third Eye called Ease Up off the same soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the Man soundtrack. And during that time I've also did like 5 joints off the Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous. That was like the start of my whole thing. But like I said, it's the love of music that put me in that position, meeting Puff, also meeting Dre. Love of music, because I was in a record store and I met Melman in a record store, digging for music. So music has always put me in so many different places. Doing an autograph signing in Harlem. That's how I met Big L. Music put me in some prolific places.
You don't look at beats or production like most cats in the hip hop space. So you look at stuff, because I've heard your beats. And by the way, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, y'all need to get him to open that vault because he got some heaters. Real spit. You don't look at it like everybody else. As far as different producers I've been around, you know what I mean? You really looking, the way that you put it together, where you start from. That's why I'm asking you, what inspires you to come up with the sounds you come with?
I'm still collecting. I never stopped collecting records. I got a stack from Russia. I got a stack from Canada. I got stacks from all over different places that I ain't even really go through yet. But on any given day, you throw that on and vibe and you hear that one joint, you be like, oh shit, I forgot I brought the record for this shit right here. You know, and it's not just samples and loops. Sometimes it's the chords, it's the keys, it's that chord progression that gives me ideas. You know, I always say digging is important because it's not just all the time about loops. It's just certain things you hear on records that'll point you in different directions or make you think of something you ain't even think of before, or you heard a chord you never heard before. That's the art of studying the people before you and buying records. records always got something fly on it. It could be a riff. It could just be whatever. But it's the mind of the individual that's going to make that record work. There's so many things. It's not, the record ain't going to do the work. The equipment ain't going to do the work. Because some people think if I buy all the latest equipment, I'm going to make this masterpiece.
Dig that.
I've seen that shit happen in the past where person brought a whole bunch of equipment and couldn't make a beat, and then that whole shit just became a fucking fire sale and shit. You know, people just came and brought the motherfucking equipment, like, let me get that, you know, at a discounted rate.
Yeah, I got 500.
Since you're discouraged.
Dig that.
You know, so it's never the machine. It's always the individual on every level, from the records to the machine.
Is digging still important to you?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I just ordered some shit. I just be e-digging now. Not YouTube digging, you know.
E-digging, huh?
Yeah, because now it's like I can look at my collection of a record that I had that he was in bad shape and go to Discogs.
Yeah.
I could look at a record in my collection and be like, you know what? Damn, I got these 2 albums, but I don't have these other 2 albums. And I'll go find the other 2 albums.
Yeah.
So it's still research, it's still digging. But you know, you just got the help of technology nowadays.
All right, we're back to the technology. Who taught you how to produce?
It's really who taught me the machines.
Let's go from
that
there.
Put me in position to produce. And I would say that Show. I always say Show, Large Professor, and Jess West. Cause
Jess West, I'll Be Sure, right?
No, Jess West is Third Eye Jess West.
Third Eye Jess West.
He had an album out called No Prisoners.
Indeed.
You know, so he taught me the 950, and Show and Large taught me so much on SV1200. And that's what kind of started it for me, because I learned that they say sometimes they say producers, if you sample, you're not a producer, you know, because you don't play an instrument.
Oh, I can dig it. Yeah.
You don't play an instrument. But you got to think of the genius in these dudes, man. Let's take Show, my brother Show. He takes some drums. He chops up the drums, kick snare, loose kick snares, program a drum beat. And then find a jazz record and take a loop and filters the loop and put the loop perfectly over the drums. Then find some horns or different voices, and then you putting that on top. You're layering, you're composing. So when people saying dudes that sample aren't producers, I say, yo, you tripping. You know, the stuff that these dudes are doing nowadays, man, shit, the Stro Elliots, the tall black guys, the Vitamin D's of the world, the stuff they do, man, I'm amazed, you know. And I remember Stro, you know, I was sitting with Stro in a session. He said, and you know, Stro, if you don't know who Stro Elliott is, please Google him, look him up on YouTube. One of the most prolific finger drummers you'll see. And he said, yo, Ness, I thought y'all was doing this shit back in the days. And I was like, no, we wasn't doing that. Like, literally, you know, I went to Russia and judged the beat battle. And the shit they were doing, we behind the times, you know. I learned, like, you know, they fool you. America is the greatest country.
I ain't know if you was finna go there.
Nah. And I say that because I've traveled to different parts of the world, and they so advanced, cultural, fucking architecture. You know, I just felt like when I came to America, come back from there, I was lied to. You know, we always thought we were first and controlled a lot of shit. You know, it's like when I went to fucking Europe in the 90s and I experienced fucking Amsterdam. Now, if you ever went to Amsterdam in the 90s and you had that weed over there. Nah, this is before now. Don't start thinking, oh, we got strains and I'm growing in the dispensary. No, before all that shit. They were doing that shit over there. You go in a coffee shop and order weed off a fucking menu. And that weed is the best weed you ever had. Come back to New York and beat the shit out of your drug dealer that's selling you weed. Shit was horrible here. You know,
see, over here in LA though, in Cali, we always keep good bud. So
y'all might have been the exception. But before they had, Hayes and Dro in the jar.
No, yeah. That was all them over there.
Yeah, that was them over there. So, like I said, sometime you gotta leave the block. You gotta leave where you at. Experience different things, man.
Dig that.
Coaching in Japan, I thought, we had shit locked. We was digging and finding records, and then I bumped into a brother by the name of Muro out in Japan, and he was playing shit I ain't never hear. He's Japanese. I'm like, fuck. So don't let them blow smoke up your ass like America is the greatest country. There's some shit going on outside America you need to experience sometime. You could go some places where they pay your tuition. They pay your tuition.
Dig that.
Canada, fucking healthcare, free. Fucking, I knew somebody in Switzerland when they say minimum wage was $8,000 a month.
Dig that.
So when you listening to all this and you experiencing all this, then you turn on the television here and you hear them kicking this bullshit. But to each his own.
It's funny that you're saying all that. Don't you think, or better yet, let me rephrase it. Do you feel that hip hop was the voice of the streets and shit always have something to say about the conditions that's going on?
Oh yeah, definite. Melly Mel, A Message, Public Enemy, Ice Cube, early Ice Cube, even NWA. Hip hop has always been the voice of the urban communities and the youth.
Indeed.
And even dictate fashion, and hip hop is just $1 billion type of thing,
So do you think it should stay with the youth, or you feel that, because we talk about this, so we know there is no age on none of this.
No, I don't think it's age on hip hop. It's $1 billion business. It's corporations. There's so many things that's linked to hip hop. So when you say hip hop, you can't just put it into one little format. Hip hop is abroad on so many levels.
How you feel that breaking is going to be in, hip hop? You know what I'm saying? Breaking is going to be in the 2024 Olympics.
Motherfuckers ain't breaking no more. These motherfuckers look like stuntmen. You seen that Kane, KRS-One versus, and Kane brought out stuntmen. He ain't bring out fucking dancers. Salute to Tata and them and Crazy Legs.
Yeah, salute to Crazy Legs and Tata.
If you even look at dancing and where they're taking breakdancing to, they very extraterrestrial with it. Very.
So do you feel like, let's do it like this, because you already said DJing is first, because I was getting ready to ask you something else, but I want to pivot. Who taught you how to DJ?
Wow. I've learned a little bit from everybody, you know. Like I said, I'm a student. So I starts off with Mike Smooth, Show. It starts with Show, Mike Smooth. I learned something from Muggs before he was down with Soul Assassins and that.
Oh.
Muggs was down with a group called 783.
Yeah.
He showed me some stuff. Aladdin showed me some stuff. I'm still learning, you know.
Hey.
I just try now when I DJ, I just try to be clean and concise.
You used to battle.
Yeah, I battled DJing too. Rock Raider ended my career in that. Even though I beat Raider in like
Shout out to Rock Raider, rest
91,
in peace.
rest in peace. But he ended me. I just knew I was done. I couldn't put that much focus on what these dudes was doing as far as beat juggling. They just took this shit to a whole nother Star Trek, far away from this galaxy type shit they was doing.
Did you compete? Like, did you compete? Was that your mission when you learned how to DJ? Like,
yeah, I was competing. I've won my share of battles.
All right.
But after that nice ass whooping I took, and just say, yo, it ain't for me no more. You know, I say that proud because I lost to somebody I beat. That just showed me that he was more into it and went on to become the champion of the world. So I ain't lose to a lame. You know, I lost to. My career got ended by one of the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he became one of my good friends, and took him on a road and introduced him to Show and A, and you know, so music connected me to so many different people.
Shout out to your current DJ, the infamous Boogie Blind,
who I was introduced to by Rock Raider.
Correct.
You know, the Maharaja, the X Factor, why go behind him? My boy Boogie Blind.
Yes, indeed. He's a whole nother part of the game.
Yeah,
that's real
he's a whole nother thing indeed.
So just know, if they ever do talk him into a versus, that's who's gonna be on stage with him, Blind.
Yeah, you know, Blind is gonna be there. I ain't gonna worry about none of that.
So
me and him together is the
word. Speak on that. That's what I wanted to get into. Like,
I mean, it's a cheat code for me, man. Because I'm a producer and I'm an artist. So, you know, 9 out of 10, I come with the whole layout of the show.
Yeah.
I go through it with Blind.
Right.
And that shit, like, it's cheating.
Right.
I could do a show tonight and fly Blind out the night and tell him we're going to do boom, 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 boom. I've been on the road with Blind since, 2004, 2005? He knows me upside down. We don't have to practice like that. But when we perform together, you think we practice every day. You know, so, yeah, and it's going to be fun. We two characters, you know. Don't let us both have a few drinks. It gets, you know, get crazy on that stage.
Indeed. Both of y'all.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess the thing that I really wanted to, know was, for you, is it more about, because after Rock Raider ended your career, as you say he did, you still continued to DJ?
Oh, yeah. He ended my battle career.
Right.
You know, he ain't end me to the fact where I broke my turntables or nothing. It's just like, you don't need to be battling no more. There's dudes that's locked in their bedroom that's practicing way more than you. You come in there because you the rapper. Because, see, my thing was I'm a rapper.
Right.
So, I was nice. So they go, all right, this rap dude, he gonna get on the turntables? So that was always the element of surprise, because as soon as I'm on there, they like, wait, get the fuck out of here. Like, yo, he taking his shirt off, he's spinning around, he's, So my thing is, I was always like Fonzie in the shit. I'm come be cool. You gonna be enamored that I'm a rapper, and you thinking, yeah, I'm gonna wipe him. He's a rapper, and I wipe you, you know. And I've wiped a lot of people in that until, you know, I beat Raider. And I don't know what he did. He went back home and he practiced. And, you know, they usually let you go 2 rounds. You go 1, he go 1.
Yeah.
No, he did so amazing in his 1. It's like, come on, why y'all even let me go again? Like, just end this shit real quick. Give it to him, you know? So, yeah.
It was that bad?
Yeah, it was bad.
I can dig it. It
was bad.
See, most cats won't talk about real stuff like that.
Nah, but you know, everybody want to make themselves look good. That's the problem. Nobody want to show
the whole
that
script.
they human. You know, everybody want. I was just superhero. And I had 3 capes and I defeated the world. And you know, you're like, stop lying. Little so and so punched you in your mouth. You know, so everybody wanna. You know, if you let people tell they 1 paragraph, it'll be a 2-part novel.
Indeed.
Me, it's easy for me to just be real, you know. Might not be the popular thing, but it's real. That's why the story don't change. Because, you know, it's real.
Right, that's what it's about.
Now, when it ain't real, and you go back and look at a few people interviews, the story was this, and then it was this, and wait up, he added this, wait up, wasn't 1 car? No, it's 4 cars, and you know, I don't have no time for that. I can dig it.
So, all right, so now we have this current thing that's been going on, taking over the world, this brunch thing.
Oh yeah, brunch just allows me to be me, and the concept is if you was out somewhere having to take you and yours or your missus or your spouse or whatever, what would the music sound like on a motherfucking sunny Saturday in a fucking sexy spot? And that goes from everything from rhythm and blues to fucking yacht rock to the latest shit, neo soul, and it's a vibe. And I do it in a way where it feels incredible, and it's still building.
I'm on that brainwash, full rollout, anonymous, underplayed or overplayed, strategic, I promise. More dope brings more Negroes, watch them heroes, pro lethal, dream killers feast on people, Nubians in need, mine on the hunt, Paul Bear, sharp fluid gates and piston bumps, no excuses, that's a sin, back to the begin, muscle memory, pseudo respect and revenge, plays blindfolded, a bucket list with interest, forgiveness, the shadows and mirrors, who handle business, legacy, all grind, no guest list, land in jurisdiction, make your bread prejudice, for the purists and the tourists, cue sticky for ghetto jurors, swing high, swing low, you forgot that we do this, bank selection, smooth DR vibe, underground icon, you have now been gentrified.